Alright, the top hinge is in place, and I've got the inner nuts tightened on the threaded rod. And the seam right now is beautiful. The door is forward enough, and I'm just going to open her up. Hold it temporarily open in place with just a piece of wood. And I'm just checking the inner and outer nuts right now. And just giving them a little bit of tightening. You don't want to make any big changes at any time, because it is going to change the adjustment of the door pretty fast. So I'm going to see if I can get the camera in there. It's a little dark though, so it might be an issue, but so there's the what I call the J hinge, and there's the adjustment nuts right there with the plate on the outside. And then on the inside of the door, you can just maybe make out the plate and the adjustment bolts in there. But right now, fiberglass, sorry. I just tighten these up snug against what I had snugged up in the inside. So now I'm going to see what happens to the door. Snugging up those sometimes changes the whole system. So the door is closed. The seam looks beautiful in the front. That edge held up, and in the back there, it kicked out a little bit. So I'm going to make an adjustment on one of the nuts. You got to watch your top line though too. Make sure it's not poking up when you adjust that, because the door latch here and the pin will hold that in place. If you place that pin late, which is something we're going to do much later when it's on the car and all mounted. But right now it's looking good. So I'm going to tighten up the inside a little bit more. And I know the top bolt, if I tighten that too much, it's going to make the rear kick out. I'm going to tighten the bottom first. 3/4 deep, 3/4 socket. And right now it's pretty tight. I'm going to take a look. Seam looks beautiful here, and it held along this back. Nice. Check, make sure it still opens, nothing's binding. And you want to look at this point and make sure as soon as it opens that it's coming away from the body. Right now my fingers are zero seam on the front, and it does not push against my hand at all. Here again, zero seam, and this edge is going to come into it, but you want to check the depth. So I'm going to use my finger as a feeler gauge and make sure that moves away right away, doesn't hit. And that's exactly what it did. As soon as the door lifts up in this adjustment, it moves away from my finger. And I'll check it down here, it's a little bit further away, same thing, right away. So I actually put my hand here and stimulate the other. It doesn't rub at all. So the way the design is in this hinge, that J brings it right away a little bit up and away if you adjust it properly. And it's just a matter of those two, the upper and lower bolts. So I'm going to snug up the top one a little bit. Check it. Okay, the seam's still really good. Now I'm going to open up the door. And on those inner nuts, I'm going to tighten them a little bit. Just a quarter turn. Top one's hard to get at. Just a quarter turn. Check it again. Beautiful. Now I'll go a little bit further on the inside. Check it again. It's beautiful. All around. Seamed itself perfectly. Doing the inner bolts, another quarter turn. Stayed perfect. And then, same thing on the inside. Snug them up. It didn't change after that. They're nice and tight, but not, there's probably 40 foot-pounds on there. And that's beautiful. Seamed all around, the top looks good. Let's go along this seam, it didn't rub it all in here. And this door, we know now, doesn't need anything changed. The seam is beautiful. It's ready to go. And I'm sure you're thinking to yourself, well, you don't have the nose on. You don't have the nose on.